Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody doing? Are we all winning? I think the market's been a bit of a fun one today, which makes a nice change. Let's get some music on in the background. There we go. Evening, what a beautiful day. It is indeed. Right, let's say hello to some people, shall we? Hello, Arnoot. Butchered your name. Martin Norby, hello. Fly Wizard, let's go. Kaz is not here, is here. Work that one out. Marcelo, hello my friend. Flux T, let's go. H1CT, let's go. We were all long from the bottom, of course. Everybody was, right? We just long the lows. Easy clap. I definitely wasn't long the shittest beta altcoin there was. Definitely not. That was definitely not me. Actually, I don't think it was technically the shittest. No, it wasn't. Is it even on my list? No, it isn't. Brilliant. So, I was pre-long. Curve. Yeah, it was one of the shittest. Excellent. Oh, he is in there. Yeah, wasn't one of the best. But that was a pre-position into today. But yeah, have you enjoyed today? Why do you, Cred, and CBS all sound like the same person? I will take that as a compliment, my friend. It's because we're English and you're racist. That's why. And you're like, all English people sound the same. We all have our same tin of baked beans that we share around, drinking out the same bottle of water. I'm joking. Hypnotoad XL, my friend. Stop out on all your shorts. Ah, well. Some days you are wrong. And that is just the price of playing the game. Noodles back on the menu. Excellent. Otter Walter. Yeah. That's it. So get ridiculed for being English, and we are like 1 minute into the actual stream. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Good evening, Sachi, by the way. But yeah, so it's been a pretty interesting day. Pretty big news. We can all unwind, obviously, on back of ETF denial or something like that. Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu. What about? See, in no point, well, at no point in my crypto, quote-unquote, career, if you want to call it that, did I ever think I would be sat here streaming, talking about Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu. Like, what the fuck is going on? But here we are. We are talking about it. So, let's talk about this wonderful move. You can see these are the levels that I was interested in, and I tweeted about this the other day, which was just kind of I didn't want to trade this chop, right? I had no intention of trading this range at all, and I had two very simple price levels that I was interested in, which you may be able to work out why I had those levels. You know, not specifically to the cent. I was going to say the penny, but that won't mean much to my American brothers and sisters. So, yeah, that was kind of it, my thought process. Those alerts fired off into the Discord, and it was time to actually sit up and pay attention. Did I long Bitcoin? Absolutely not. I don't like trading Bitcoin, despite the fact that my name is BTC Charlie, which is an absolute fraud to the name, because I usually long shitcoins. So, did anyone catch this BTC long on actual BTC itself? Someone got slipped on Rune? Oh, fuck yeah, we'll come on to Rune. That is, that is a savage piece of fuckery. Should be FTX, Charlie. I mean, maybe. I did have a ref link in my bio with no association to them for probably about a year. And someone signed up using it and traded pretty reasonable size because I was getting like $1,000 a day off them. So, you know, God bless FTX, RIP. But, yes, I was also lucky enough to get all my cash out of FTX because I rather luckily saw an interview of Sam with Eric Voorhees and thought, what the fuck, why have I got a substantial portion of my net worth in this idiot's exchange? And I just took it all out. I did lose my swag packs though, but to anyone who actually lost serious sums in there, that's probably not going to be, you know, shout out to FTX. No, definitely not. Obviously crushed a lot of people's hopes and dreams. So, I shouldn't joke about it, but there we are. Let's move on, shall we? Let's not rebrand to FTX Charlie any point soon. So, yeah, I lost it all there. See what I mean? Like, some people just literally had everything on there. I know someone who had like 10 million on there, and that was basically, you know, quote unquote all they had. It's obviously a fuck ton of money. But literally run it all up during a bull run, you know, probably the greatest bull run of all time, and have all of that stripped away from you from what was supposedly one of the safest exchanges of all time. Pretty bad, but I digress. While you were withdrawing from FTX, I was depositing millions to long. I believe you. Such a great quote. But yes, I did not long Bitcoin like everybody on crypto Twitter. I did not, and I do not ever normally want to be long Bitcoin purely because there are usually better beta plays. But one thing I talked about in the group this week as part of my plans was if we do get the ETF approval, or obviously this kind of positive news, one thing I want to be very conscious of, and I'll talk you all through it because we might as well, is this beta essentially to BTC. It might even need to go lower time frame to actually really give you a flavour for it. But news hits, and what happens? What are we looking at? We are looking at very low time frame Bitcoin and trying to see what alts are running ahead of it, so we can essentially play a beta. Now, as someone's already pointed out in the chat, Big Rune was the one that went absolutely crazy, because by the looks of it, someone got massively slipped and a load of stops got taken, and we just cut through a very thin book like a hot knife through butter. And actually one of the best beta plays, which tends to be the case when Bitcoin is bullish, it certainly was the last time we had that very strong move on BTC. Back here is BCH. So BCH, one of the best moves, and did I long it? No, absolutely not, but we'll talk about it anyway. I was actually in Pepe and CRV, so still in CRV, and I took a rotational play on Pepe, just thinking that fuck me, if we are moving to a risk-on environment, I should say, that Pepe was a trade that I attempted the other day up here, I think it was, as a breakout trade, with the kind of intention of playing it up to probably this level here, and actually it was reasonably decent low time frame and reasonably decent like on a 4-hour basis, so it might have been like that actually. Get it wrong, but yeah, it obviously failed, so I'm showing you a trade that failed, but it was on my radar as, okay, well, it's probably going to be a good rotational play if we move from a risk-off environment into a more risk-on environment due to positive news. And with CRV was a little bit different. So we had, this is like the ugliest divergence I've probably ever seen in my life. And this was me trying to describe what a pretty divergence looks like, right? And, I got saved by the market today, absolutely, on this. It was definitely the market saving me rather than anything else. And whilst this isn't a clean technical divergence, because we didn't have this level being respected in line with this, and these are not at extremes, these moves here, it was quite clean from an AO and an RSI perspective, and just the fact that we've just sold off absolutely horrifically since all the CRV drama came out. So I was just looking for a simple rotational play, and I've been in this play since, was it Sunday? Yeah. So yeah, one reactive trade and one pre-position trade into this move, which I'm not liking the look of it now because it's just dying off. And obviously CRV, as we talked about at the start of the stream, in terms of beta, is just not one of the best. Not one of the best at all. So yeah, kind of mid-pack. It's actually even under BTC, which is just not what we want to see. Back, you're just finishing your beans. Excellent. We're so back. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Excellent. Yeah, I've also sorted out the squeaky chair. So I've replaced my chair, and I've got to say that it has invigorated me with a new passion for life. It hasn't really done that, but it is definitely worth investing in a good chair if you are sat here for hours and hours and hours every single day, as I am. So yes, you shouldn't hear much squeaking. Like, this is me moving quite violently on it. Which one did I get? A chair. Can you have my old one? Yeah, of course, mate. Eating Co-op premium ravioli tonight. Oh, lovely. Yeah, chair purchase. This is the bull market is back. Viewer number's gonna double. Yeah, hopefully. Here for the chair. So yeah, I mean, I could have played this a little bit better in terms of rotating to BCH early. Obviously, knew that was pretty high up on the agenda. The one that I think I'm mildly annoyed about is Mask. And I think I talked to you guys last week about Mask and my general consensus and theory on it. Now, I tried very hard to get in a trade on Mask. And by that, I mean, I've got a ridiculous thesis that Twitter buys Mask. I think I've talked to you guys about that before. I tried this trade as in that big booty swing pattern that, again, I think is one of Magus's kind of famous, just simple momentum plays of downtrend starts to stop. You get that consolidation, accumulation, and then you get that uptrend, right? Real simple price action, nothing particularly complex about that, right? And for me, I think it's one of the best kind of, not fundamental, but fundamental speculations in terms of what might happen. And I think the market, given the beta on Mask, probably thinks the same. But I couldn't find a reason to enter the trade. So I was looking for some form of higher time frame divergences, like on these lows, like across here, as an example. It's just, you know, like that. That to me is not an actionable divergence, right? So as much as I wanted to be in position, I've had to abandon my hopes and dreams of this ludicrous thing happening and just, you know, let the technicals kind of take control. Now, if we continue to see Mask being a pretty strong altcoin on a rotational basis, then I can always get in on the next rotation and just play for a bit more of a swing position than, you know, I would normally do on low time frame rotations. I think if I delete all this crap, because I think I've probably made my point about the higher time frame, you know, I think any form of reclaim of this kind of 326 level, it's quite clean, isn't it? Going across here. I mean, that's not perfect, but here, rejection, support, pass through, rejection, pass through. Probably let's go daily. And we're just holding up, and then strong sell-off, reclaim, and you know, I'd probably take the same trade again if Mask was high beta going into it, and we had some form of consolidation on this support here, and I would kind of go for the same trade, you know, target these highs and see what happens. But at the moment, I can't really justify deploying capital into spot on this on the basis of, well, not a lot, really. Moving quite violently on it, yeah. I think this is the thing. Like, obviously, this move is kind of a one-off move, driven by positive news. It's really good. One, to see the market respond so well to positive news, and two, for there to actually be some form of positive news, right? Like, it's been a pretty bleak market generally. You know, we're seeing a lot of weakness on some alts. You know, with this, even with Mask, you know, a high time frame I get, but this kind of bouncing ball of momentum in terms of those lower highs on higher time frame with a final sell-off, right? And that's quite a classic kind of pattern in terms of those rotations just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And that's like exactly what we've seen here, right? It's poor. No wonder my aim is dog shit in FPS. Anyway, it's all a fucking mess. Not a mess. So trade plan or action is look for a reclaim of this. I think it's a little lower, but 3-3-ish area, and see what happens. You know, in the meantime, on lower time frame, play rotations and assume that kind of Mask is going to be reasonably high beta. BCH is, you know, a very interesting one with where it is in terms of, let's just zoom out a little bit. You know, for me, basically touching this, a form of support, would be a good place for it to reject, but we're not really seeing much in the form of weakness, no actionable like divergence across there. That's still pretty difficult to get on board, and I don't really want to be shorting the strongest asset of the day without a failure of market structure. I've actually got a really good example of that, which is TRB. So I posted the other day and I said, okay, like ignoring what actually happened, this is what I wanted to see on TRB, and I think we've talked about this quite a few times, as in a parabolic move with essentially a break of that parabola into a lower high, which signifies a complete change in momentum of that market, and then a kind of sell-off as a result. Now, I didn't enter this trade because there was no trigger for me. I didn't have that lower high, and basically, as is standard, half an hour after I post something like that on Twitter, we get a, I don't know, whatever it was, 15% move, just straight to the upside. But look, 23% just ripped through the books because most altcoins are being, you know, absolute liquid shitcoins at the moment with cartel pumps. So, you know, I guess 2 points. 1, no trigger, no trade. And 2, fading strong momentum is always quite difficult, and I always look for that confirmation that actually we have lost some strength. And the reason that I do that is because it's much higher EV, and if I delete that, you know, and start talking about it with what actually happened, and do a little bit of hindsight, because why not, right? I'm not actually live trading this in front of you, so I can do whatever the fuck I like. It's also my stream, so, you know, we do what we want. But the point being that as soon as you've broken that structure, and you get your first confirmation of that like lower high here, then actually, you know, that's a reasonable time to get on board and start shorting. And even if you're shorting into this, you know, you would have had a pretty reasonable time following it down just as a simple market structure play, right? And then up here, you kind of go, well, okay, maybe if I even just, you know, closed it here, you've still banked a little bit. So for me, it's really important to. Now, I don't want to fade this. I know that there are people out there who do really well fading these kind of moves on a low time frame basis, but you know, it's just not me. It's just not me. And equally, you know, today we had that opportunity on Rune. So you know, this is a 1 minute chart, just to point that out. You know, that is a 1 minute candle. If I go to the 5 second chart, maybe we can see it even better. You know, the time you would have had to actually react and do this really is not very long at all. So let's pretend you know, managed to get in sort of here. So 15 seconds, not great. And then within another 20 seconds, you know, you're up 12.7% in 15 seconds, and then you're down 8.6% in 20 seconds. Like, that's pretty fast, right? I think we can all agree that that's not the easiest to trade, and to trade with either size or conviction. I think it'll just fade like XRP. Yeah, potentially, if you're talking about BCH. Evening, Bias Frog. How are you, my friend? So yes, some real juicy trades, some real juicy moves today, which you've just got to love. Just got to absolutely love. If anyone's trading Tomo, I'd take my hats off to you. I think Magus has been crushing it on Tomo lately. Tomo is just one of those coins that I find so difficult to trade. So difficult to trade. It just moves completely independently of everything else normally, which is a really good thing sometimes, but every time I try and touch it, it just bends me over and fists me, to be honest. I'm not gonna ingratiate that. Yeah, that was quite a quick overview, wasn't it? Really. We'll talk about some shitcoins in a bit, because I've been quite deep in low cap territory, which someone said to me this morning, "You're going to prison." I was like, "Oh, thanks." I don't think I've been very BitBoy-esque, but yes, if you want to follow me, notifications on for the next 1000x, you know, put all your money, get a new mortgage, stick it in this coin. You know, I don't think I've ever done any tweets like that, so I'd like to think I'm not going to jail, but who knows? Who knows? I literally said, "Here is a list of bags I hold. You are going to jail." Oh, thanks. That's what I wanted to see on a fucking Tuesday morning. Yeah, one of the point, I guess, was like looking at this in the form of like a 15-minute divergence and just saying, well, do I want to fade this? Like, no, for me, I'm not going to get on board this, and I'm not going to try and play, you know, any form of reversion to the short side. I think, if anything, the pullback's probably not going to be that strong. If anything, I'm going to look for consolidation and then look to get on board for the potential next leg up. So for me, trading BTC at this point, I don't want to go short. I definitely don't want to long. Right here, right now, because that's the bulk of the move, and in my opinion. And yeah, I want to see next consolidation and then just simple next range play. And for me, it's going to be the next alt rotation as well. Obviously, BCH being very high on that list of potentials to get long, given the beta that we've just seen. And I'll probably close out my CRV long just because it's a bit piss poor. Good to see Rune smashing things though. Yeah, I mean a high time frame Bitcoin still, isn't the most wonderful look on the planet. We still haven't reclaimed this sort of 29k area, so I'm not like hyper bullish. But do I think it will? Yes, quite probably. I think this is probably the initiation move, especially if we get some good news re-ETF. It's going to be fucking massive, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like we'll see that reclaimed, and we will see, probably a move to, I don't know, something like 34. I reckon quite quickly, and just that trend continuation to the upside on a higher time frame basis. But yeah, it's kind of all to play for this week. Any big bets in the chat? Any controversial views? Sui to 102. Do you know what? I got fucked so hard trying to trade Sui last week. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that one. I probably had my worst week in terms of trading a single coin. I just got absolutely done in. I don't know what all that's from. But yeah, I couldn't catch a move on Sui. It just chopped me up. I kind of expected, probably like yourself. I kind of expected a bit of a move up. Where are we? Friday. Yeah, it was here, wasn't it? I kind of expected this to kind of continue. Sorry, that's fucking tiny, isn't it? Even I can't see that. I kind of expected this market structure to continue to the upside, right? Because you got those consistent high lows, and you've got that, reasonably strong moves. This lower high here, and then a pretty strong sell-off. And I think it was kind of here where I get my timing all wrong, aren't I? No, it was here. Yeah, it was all through this. So basically, I was kind of longing it up here and getting crushed on the way down, and then vice versa, longing it up here, and then it kind of selling off, and just literally, because I tend to trade far more long than short focused, I just got absolutely annihilated by Big Sui. Yeah, I had my number last week, but that's fine. Got a long at 45 cents. 45 cents, that's like literally the Schmiko bottom. So just be patient, yeah. But there's always another trade, like always. I mean, today it must be, one of those great examples where actually you can wait for weeks, if not months, and there's not that much going on in terms of price action, and you might not have caught that one move of the day that supposedly everyone else did on Twitter. But, today you could have pretty much longed anything, and as long as you were on that side of the trade, you would have made money, apart from Sui, unironically. It makes me feel a little bit better about having such a poor performance on it. The fact that it is literally fucking dead. You go through all of this and it's like, okay, BTC not great, but you kind of expect that on very bullish news for BTC, and BTC being the kind of in-play coin, and dollar down, which is obviously good for risk on assets. And then Sui is one of the only ones. Oh, and Magic, because I think there was a lot of Team FUD, wasn't there, on Magic, which is now pretty much fully recovered. Nice. Although trading Magic is a pain in the ass because it's illiquid. So investors busy selling. Yep. Thanks for the updated spaghetti. Oh, yes. Actually, I will lump that in here again. And thank you all for the retweets and stuff. You know, I don't want to be an engagement whore, but I'm going to be an engagement whore because, quite frankly, fuck it. So there it is in the chat if you actually want it, if you missed it. And it's kind of true that, like, you know, a lot of people say it that actually, even Elon says it, that, like, you know, I'll tweet and it will get like 10,000 views and it will get like 50 likes. And I'm like, where's the other 9,950 people? Did they not like my content? Which, fine if you don't, but I'm very liberal with the likes, to be honest. I try and like most of the tweets that, or responses to my tweets. I've got 34,000 tweets, which is fucking depressing anyway, and 169,000 likes. 169,000. Boys and girls, I've got RSI just from Doodle included too. Excellent. Free Doodle. Signed. It's actually signed. Charlie. You can tell that's not my real signature. But yeah, CRV is my current position. Pepe is done. I didn't do this. I didn't sell at the Shmiko top. I actually sold in this consolidation here, so you can kind of ignore that. Trade looks more like this, to be honest with you. But yeah, that was it. And yeah, not great compared to some of the other returns that you could have had on offer. But we pretty much paid for my Sui shite last week. So yeah, high time frame Bitcoin. Still be very vigilant for the rest of the week would be my thought process. I think the ETF decision, or not as the case may be, is going to have a big impact either way. Which is probably what everyone's saying. For no real source. Same with ETH. You know, so for me on ETH, it's actually a bit better because my high time frame, like pivotal level, is this 1670-ish level across here, and obviously we've bounced from that, and that is pretty good. I would like to have seen ETH BTC be a little bit stronger, but just for the correlation for alts. But given the news and given the narrative, that kind of makes sense. So I can forgive it. OP has been on my radar as well for a while. I think we've talked about that quite a bit. Did we talk about these levels before? Can't remember. Maybe, but this was the market structure play that we doodled from last week, and kind of the same thought processes in my head. Just close over that 152, and we can start talking about, you know, building a position for slightly, you know, longer term and next side of the market shifting up. Doge, again, not really wonderful. Reasonably low beta. I think Mask is actually the proxy play for Twitter. I don't think it is Doge, despite the fact of the news today. You know, Twitter getting their license to enable crypto payments and all of that. You know, Mask having a stronger reaction should tell you something. Sol, I think, is kind of done. I'm not that interested. BNB is the other one. So everyone and their mother was shorting BNB to 0. And actually, for me, you know, getting a close above sort of 230-ish on a daily basis would be quite interesting, especially if we start zooming in and we go down to a 4-hour and we go, okay, well, let's delete this high time frame pivot and let's start looking at lower time frame and thinking, you know, what alts would I be quite comfortable chucking a decent sum of money at and just going, hope for like a 50% kind of move. And BNB is one of them, especially if we get like ETF approval and all that kind of wonderful stuff. That I think, yeah, hold above, reclaim, I think we'd see a pretty strong move on BNB. My tweets have been golden recently. Oh, thank you very much. I think I lost about 100 followers the other day because I tweeted there will never be another bull market again. People got very upset. And it was a point that I kind of wanted to talk through on stream. I've talked about it in the group a couple of times in the Paragon, which is if you get upset by stuff like that, you're a pussy. You've got to make your own decisions, and you've got to put your money where you believe it's going to return value. It's as simple as that. I don't give a flying fuck what anyone else says on Twitter, right? They can do what they want. Put their money wherever they like. They can tell me that my investments are dog shit. Don't care. You know, if they can provide me with a rational argument as to why I might not want to invest in something, fine. I'm completely open to it. But I'm not going to change my view because someone else has a different opinion to me. That's, you know, I just don't understand it. I mean, I understand the term influencer in terms of influencing other people's decisions and all that kind of stuff, and inadvertently spending a lot of time on Twitter. If you just followed perma-bears, you would probably be in a bit more of a bearish mindset or looking out for bearish cues. But at the end of the day, everyone has to make up their own view. You know, I don't think we're ever going to have a bull market like 2021 again. Never. No, it's just not going to be that easy. As simple as that. People are never going to have as much spare cash as they had in 2021. At least not for a fucking long time. The whole discovery phase of crypto, along with NFTs, bringing in huge amounts of new people to the market. I think such a high proportion of people know what crypto is compared to what they did, in 2017 as an example. So I just cannot see how it will be as easy as it was. But is it going to be? Are we going to get a cycle? Yeah, absolutely. There is no cap on human greed. No cap. And you've seen it. You've seen it lately. Right? What's it mean to live a finite life in an infinite universe? Bearish. Yeah. Would it be microbubbles? Yeah. Do you not think ETFs trillions of dollars will come in? Maybe. All markets rise. All banks in the UK are limiting deposits to crypto exchanges. Yeah, exactly. So I think you're going to get that kind of fight and that pressure. So inflows into crypto. So let's look at and this chart is flawed in part of its logic, but it's also not in other parts. So this is the total market cap of BUSD, USDC, and USDT. Now there are others. Obviously, there's like the Tron dollar and is it USDD, I think, and a couple of others. But I mean, any technical analysts in the chat want to tell me what this is? Anyone? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this uptrend? Downtrend? I don't know. Here's the stablecoin market cap. Yes. I was kind of hoping for, classic skis slope pattern. Can't see ticker too small. That's what she said. But shouldn't be too small. So yeah, it's just the total market cap of these stablecoins. And you can see it's just gone fucking down. Down. So chips are leaving the casino. Don't get me wrong. This is, one of the first times we've actually had some form of consolidation. But look at that. Like, I know I'm doing like RSI technical analysis on USDX crypto market caps, right? And that is fucking cringe. Don't get me wrong. That is cringe. So please forgive me. But the point in principle is there was 151 billion and now there's 112 billion. So actually, that's a reasonable amount of dollars leaving the system or migrating to other stablecoins. Until I start seeing upticks in this, and I start thinking, well, actually, there's new participants. It's not just the same 20 of us trying to take each other's shekels. That's when I'd really start piling on the risk. and actually you're starting to think differently that actually ETF could be the one. You're right. Like, it could be a reasonably big trigger for people to start getting on board. You look at Eddie the Eagle. Yeah. Which interest can those guys give when compared to the regular banks? 7%. What do you mean? What stablecoin issuers? Nothing. I don't think. Yeah, overall stablecoin market cap and stablecoin TVL down too. And that's kind of my point, right? Is that there's not really this inflow of new capital. It's the same capital rotating. You can see that on chain. You know, we had the Rollbit run, we had various other bits and pieces. I can talk about Rollbit very quickly. No deal, no affiliation, no sponsorship, nothing like that. Did give the generational bottom using technical analysis. There, obviously my shitpost tweet is still on there. And all it was, 4 hour div. Very nice, clean 4 hour div. And it's kind of why I had to take the same one on CRV. It's this at flip of previous all-time high. And if any of you saw the tweet I did the other day on just that simple pattern of alt does this, like that's the former all-time high. We go through it, we come back, we retest it. We normally do a little bit of, I'll redraw that because it's a bit shit. We normally do a little bit of chopping and then it just fucks off, right? And it's usually something like that. And that's kind of exactly what this did, right? And if you did that, that is literally the same thing. And this pattern printed me a fuck ton of money during the bull run. And people can say, oh, it's because it's bullish. Yeah, it's because the easiest generational bull run of your life. Yeah, quite probably. You know, that's definitely a part of it. If you are playing coins that are basically in a bull run and in similar conditions, despite the fact the rest of the market isn't really doing much, you're going to have a fun time. It's the simple answer. And yeah, honestly, that one pattern printed me so much. It even got me a message from, because I just kept playing it and just kept fucking nailing it, to be honest. I compounded like not a small account. It was a good size. It was a good size, I suppose. It was a very good size for me at the time, right? So everything's relative. So where I was in 2020, 2021 versus where I am now is obviously quite different. But yes, it got the attention of a very good trader who messaged me, and to this day, I still look back at it sometimes and I'm like, oh, I can't believe you said that. Really nice. But yeah, I mean, RRB is in a very strong move up. I'm not in it now, but because I'm a pussy hole. But there you go. Recession views in Q4. Don't know. The thing that I've always said, and I've always talked about on this stream, is one, I'm not a macro expert, right? But what I do understand is cash flow and the impacts of interest rates on people's lives. And I think that there's a lot of interest rate risk out there in the system as it stands, both from a personal finance perspective and a company finance perspective. So there's a lot of risk out there as a result of all of these moves. And we're not seeing as much of that because people are tied in on, 6-month, 12-month, 2-year, 3-year deals in terms of rates. And I think, it's going to take time for that to play through. So, yeah. Do I think that leads to a recession? Don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't care, in the sense of I don't know, and nobody knows, the recessionary impact on something like Bitcoin. Because there's kind of two mindsets in my mind. One is people have less money, so they're going to be less willing to speculate. And the other side of it is people are degenerate gamblers and they want to quit their real life. How many times have you spoke to someone and they're like, well, when I win the lottery, this is what I'll do, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that kind of thinking would move people a little bit more to say, well, actually, I might put 50 quid in crypto. I might do this. I'll speculate more. Look at Rollbit. Look at how degenerate Rollbit actually is and how much volume it actually gets. So, yeah. I'll kind of leave that point because I don't want to talk too much about recession and all that kind of stuff. It's certainly not my... Exo did a stream yesterday talking about macro stuff. I would highly encourage you all, if you're not anyway, to subscribe to Exo's YouTube and watch him every week. Because he is, one, a fantastic trader, and two, will give you a lot of insight to global macro stuff. Did you find yourself following opinions of others too much in your early days? Yes. It's a simple answer. And like in 2017, I listened to everybody. I listened to like Crypto Mocho and stuff, who's a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but he'll be like, here's a low cap gem. And he'll tweet when it's like, Exo pushed that question here. Oh, I see. Yeah. You know, he's shilling low caps, and generally when it's up like 5x or something, and you're probably the exit liquidity, right? So I think that in the early days I did, and I was probably a bit harsh earlier when I said I don't give a fuck. I don't, you know, I'm not going to trade off other people's charts, I'm not going to trade off other people's opinions, but if people give a reasonable and substantiated view, there's a certain gaming project out at the moment, or gaming's probably, gaming/gambling, out at the moment that actually a friend told me about a long time ago, and you know, very good team, very good project. I won't name it, but yeah, I've seen a lot of takes on the timeline that, you know, well, I've seen some takes that is terrible and some takes that is great, and it's like, well, I don't have a position either way, but in my view, it's a great project, and actually, I wish I'd invested privately in it a long time ago. So, no, not PYR. But, you know, you have to be... Oh no, I made a ton of money out of Wilder World, my friend. I like Wilder World. Genuinely, great project. In fact, one of my friends, one of my IRL friends, he started this year with like a 50k portfolio and just aped it into a load of shitcoins. Wilder's not looking too hard at the moment. Rotationally, it's been pretty interesting. Yeah, I genuinely think Wilder as a project is good, but obviously pretty low beta. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that really. I guess my point is, 2017, I was a fucking idiot. I listened to anybody and anything, right? And I didn't really correlate what I was listening to and what I was buying and what I was doing with any form of punishment for doing those things, because everything I bought, everything, like literally just went up. 2017 was just beyond. I don't think I really had a day when my portfolio was like down more than 5 or 6%. Do you know what I mean? And because the next day I'd wake up and it'd be 10, 20% up, it just never gave a shit. And I was rotating through everything. I missed pumps, like crazy pumps on some of the coins I was in the day before, because I'd just rotate and I'd just flit about because I'd see the latest thing on Twitter, and it was horrific, absolutely horrific. So I have been there in terms of being a total fucking idiot, and not having any form of plan, not having any form of structure. When am I going to take profits? What am I going to do if this happens? Where's a good level to think about scaling out? You know, none of that. Absolutely none of that. I remember texting one of my friends basically. I was in London actually for like a Christmas do thing, and I remember texting him basically every hour just with a picture of my portfolio, being like, "Oh, up another few grand, lovely," because we basically had these smart cash like wallets that you'd just get like rewards from all the time. And it's like, oh, here we go, you know, just printing thousands of pounds every fucking hour out of this shitcoin. It was just mental. 2017 was crazier than 21. Yeah, I mean, for me it was. For me it was because I was far more controlled in 21 than I was 2017. So 2017 was fucking wild. I remember being absolutely stone cold drunk and trying to use Ether Delta to buy Dragon Chain. That was probably the most painful experience of my crypto life in terms of trying to get it to work. I was there for like 2 hours, absolutely off my face, steaming drunk. And I think I've still got those Dragon Chains somewhere. So when I die and go to hell, inevitably, Ether Delta will just be waiting there, and I'll just have to repeat that experience again and again and again. Any bags I'm still holding? Yes, man. Dragon Chain. Saw some horrible fat fingers that. Yeah, I mean, I did that, and I felt I learned what slippage was the day that John McAfee called DJB, Digibyte. So I said in the chat, I was like, it's gonna be Digibyte tomorrow. Digibyte tomorrow. I took my entire Bittrex balance and just fucking aped it into DGB like a complete twat. And the next day, it just went whoom, up 100% in 1 minute. And I was like, fuck me, I've just doubled my balance, and it was a good sum of money. And then I just hit market sell, and I was like, why is my account only up like 50%? I was like, what's this shit? Yeah, I learned what slippage was that day, boys. That was a that was a tough lesson to learn. But yeah, there we go. What's this shit? BSV. BSV is actually quite interesting. Just in terms of an invalidation play, I mean, it's not as high beta as BCH obviously, but last time we had a BCH run, we had a BSV catch-up play. So this is very interesting actually. I must admit, I didn't plan on talking about BSV, but let's move that. Let's put that on the radar for the boys. Let's go back to some low time frame shite, shall we? TRB just absolutely gunning it. Not getting on board here. You know what I mean? It's far too progressive for somebody who's going to bed in like 2 hours time. There will be another trade. What other stuff? Does anyone have any charts they actually want to look at? I might make this a bit of a shorter stream, to be honest. LDO was one of the only other ones that I wanted to talk about. So one of my big proxy plays for ETH is LDO. So I don't necessarily want to be long ETH, I want to be long LDO because typically it's been stronger than Ethereum and it's had better rotations. And obviously here it's got a much, it's got a pretty clean invalidation in terms of that long. So what I'm going to do is look for a pullback and try and get long on LDO. I'm not in this position yet, just to be clear. Arkham? The good old days, yeah. Any thoughts of Binance Fed? I mean, I'll say the same thing again and again, which is just keep on exchanges, you know, what you are kind of willing to lose. I mean, that's quite interesting in terms of like big booty pattern. Yeah, we talked about this, and this was my kind of original sort of vision for Sui. I mean, I hate what they do, but can't really deny the strength of said coin. It's probably a nice play to this 0.45 level if you're in it already. Actually, structurally, it's quite respects the lines, the imaginary lines that we draw to make ourselves feel confident that I mean, it's pretty much up only, isn't it? It's truth. Yeah, probably a good speculative play in terms of a wider rotation if we get positive news. So yeah, keep on exchanges where you're kind of willing to lose, and that's no FUD against any specific exchange. That's just general advice. I suppose it does constitute advice. Because any exchange can go down at any point. I think there's going to be a big migration to decentralized exchanges, and I think there's going to be a kind of push for, you know, good DEX trading with decent spreads and lots of liquidity. I think those are going to be pretty big winners in the next run, and I don't think that's necessarily just going to be, you know, the likes of you and I that think like that. SmartX is the way. I do have a bag of SDEX, yeah, and I'm obviously going to jail for it because I have a bag. So that's what someone told me this morning. But like with low caps, and I will say it again and again and again, is low caps have a high risk, and they can just go to zero quite quickly. Oh yeah, you're all here as exit liquidity, right? You all signed the waiver that says Charlie can dump his bags on you and then leave you forever in the dust. Yeah? Good. Terms and conditions apply. Yeah, I mean, I'm in quite a few low caps. Some are doing better than others. Verify that you're human. I think so. Anyone want to talk about some low caps or shill some low caps? Let's fucking go. Let me know when to buy. Ooh, no, we don't do that. Thing is, you're not allowed to tweet about them, but I have been tweeting about them because I don't give a fuck anymore. Look at that. What are we in? We're in quite a few. Pal, what's going on with Pal? Oh, fucking pulse chain. Fuck off. Hang on, let me just... Please verify you are human. Let's use Dextools, because Dextools is better. Doing alright, pretty strong reaction off the lows. That's we're in. Bought some of this for the group earlier. I was looking at it when it was up here, and I was like, no. Disclaimer. Yeah, disclaimer, I own some of these, blah blah blah. Do your own research, yada yada yada. I think this one's really interesting actually. Big guys. 4 million market cap. It's basically like Tornado Cash. So whether it gets shut down or not, who knows. WBot. Started to look into it. This Whale Bot. Whale Watch. Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of tough for me. 24k at volume. 354 holders. Oh, someone wanted to talk about Harry Potter, Sabama, blah blah blah, whatever, you know. Oh yeah, that is a nice candle. God, it's fucking mental, isn't it? Jesus. Lovely. Shares gram. Oh, we are really going into the depth of shit coinery, aren't we? 12 million volume, holy fuck. Okay, let's go. Ooh, 8,000 transactions. Nice. Nice, what is this, my friend? I take it back. This is not the depth of shitcoinery. 10 mil market cap. I presume this is like a friend tech competitor. The real Bitcoin, evidently. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say something about low caps, which is, like, my approach is if I put X amount in them, I write that off instantly, right? It's gone. Gone. And you have to be comfortable with that. Like, you are buying, you know, a ticket to a race, and you are putting the odds on at 50 to 1. That's how I look at it. And if I get the 50, great. If I don't, then I'm not fucking interested. So, you know, you have to find things that are going to be that kind of risk reward for me anyway, and just anticipate that they could rug, they could go to 0, blah blah blah. But yes, that's actually quite interesting. Thank you very much. I might take a peep at that one properly after the show. This is probably you fucks, isn't it? Disclosure: I own none of this. You know, not a paid shill or any bullshit. This is literally SFG 34 DFG in the chat. Pumping it. Let's see. Yeah, let's go. Is that actually? That's gonna actually be a ticker, isn't it? Oh, thank you very much, Pepe Library. Well, which one of these rugs are we going for, my friend? SB, the bot for SG, or what? What? SB? Shares bot. Okay. So that's the bot for the previous chart that we were looking at 600k market cap. You know. Again, reasonably interesting if you start comparing things like this to Unibot and 140 mil market cap project. Now, one of the things I really like about the meta at the moment, in terms of low caps, like obviously this is very, very strong, is the revenue sharing. I think that is like literally brilliant, because if you hold an asset and you are getting essentially dividends, but let's not call them that, otherwise Gary will come after us, then, you know, that's, you're at a point where you're almost incentivized to push the protocol. You're almost incentivized to kind of talk about it and pump your own bags, and then it's just like that classic Ponzi scheme, right? The more people you get using it, the more revenue you get. The more revenue you get, the higher the payouts. The higher the payouts, the better the discounted cash flow of said token ownership is, and you just create that circular momentum for your shitcoin. So there's no wonder there's so many coins pivoting to that, because it's hyper competitive at the moment in terms of that attention span and in terms of the products that are on offer on the market. So if you're not, sharing revenue with your users, you're probably going to find a migration of users away from your protocol to those that will share revenue with you. Yeah, I think they're generally very, very good. And the market is starting to become, in my opinion, quite crowded with these trading bots all trying to be the next Unibot and all of that. But it doesn't mean that you can't ape a little bit in them early enough and try for a few multiples. What's your thoughts on perp trading? Thoughts on Ator? I haven't really looked into Ator actually. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it. Quite a few of my friends are in it. I mean, it's pretty much up only, isn't it? So I wish I was in it, but yeah, I haven't really looked into it. I mean, it's fucking strong in terms of market structures, basically. Yeah, up only. Big brain meme. Yeah. What's your thoughts on perp trading on base? Looking at perp boot yesterday. I haven't done any of that, so not yet anyway. So I don't really have any thoughts yet. DEX and revenue sharing. Yeah, I tend to agree actually. I'm not sure what SDEX looks like, but yeah, not great. Strong sell-off. Oof, that's not good. Interesting. Yeah, I think Trump. X is the one that X community, right? It's really weird. And I kind of just want to buy a bag just to not fade it. Because if I tweet anything about X, I get literally a bajillion people responding and telling me why it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I still can't work it out. it's like, oh, there's a link between the website and x.com and blah blah blah. Okay, like proper techie nerd shit. Just fucking tell me it's Elon Musk or something. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Very, very speculative. IMO. Lovely. Big Pepe. Yeah, there's a lot of shitcoins about. And actually, if you look at you know, like this gets me every fucking time. Look how many there are just launching every hour. You scroll down for the past a couple of hours, you know, rugged, 0, 0, 0, 0, rugged. Like, be careful, boys and girls. Be careful. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Oh, I'm bullish on SDEX long term. I mean, I have a bag, and it's potentially going to 0. Who knows? But we will see. I don't know about this. What do you mean, mate? Anyway, we've veered into the shitcoin world. I love it. But yes, this is one that I think is has potential, especially at 4 million market cap. But let's jump away from shitcoin, shall we? There you go, Charlie. So I kind of want to leave you with some thoughts and or plans. Thoughts on 0x0? No thoughts because I don't have a bag of it. You like what they're doing? Yeah, that's fair. What do I look for in live pairs that show signs of life or promise? So there's a couple of things. Time from inception and percent up. No. It's less about that. It's more about things like very simple market structure. What are the team doing? What's the premise? You know, where do they sit in terms of like the competitive landscape of what's going on? So there's a lot of bot competitors out there at the moment because everyone wants to be the next Unibot, right? Everyone wants to be that, and that's fine. That's a kind of good proxy to have and a good way to try and frame the arguments, I guess, of any bot type project launching as to what can be achieved and use that as a benchmark. But I kind of feel like it's starting to get saturated. So there's one other bot project that I'm looking at, and I will hopefully get some at some point, which I won't share that source here. But some of you who are in the depth of shitcoinery will probably know it, given that it's coming out imminently. I think for me, I will very rarely take that initial punt, so I won't just ape a contract as soon as it's launched. So I'm not staring at that tape enough to know what's good and what's bad at the second that it's live to market. The only time that will be different is if I'm anticipating a launch and I know that, you know, I'm waiting for X project to launch, for example. So I've invested in a project, I won't name it just yet, and that project will be going live hopefully in September. And, you know, you'll see me talking about it, and in that scenario, when I know something is coming to market, then, you know, I've got some money lined up so that when they do go live, I can just top my bag up, essentially. And I think the initial run of said project will be pretty good. So whilst I am invested on a vested basis, which means that I get chunks of it over a period of time. So, you know, if you put 10 grand into a project, you don't just on day one get 10 grand of tokens given to you, which might be up like 10x, so you can dump 100k on the market like that. You will get it vested over 6, 12, 18 months, etc. And usually there's a cliff as well, so you start with 3 months of not having anything, as an example, just so that the project can kind of find its feet before, you know, the early investors start selling. But yes, I am a disgusting influencer who invests in projects early and gets rugged by them as well. So everyone thinks it's all fucking rosy being on this side of the fence, and I can tell you it's not. There's a few projects that I don't think I've been as bad off as I don't think I've been as stung as other people, but you know, because I do a lot of due diligence when I get contracts through. But yeah, I've lost money to basically projects never launching a token and just walking away with my investment. So it's not all super sexy. And maybe Richard Hart going to jail mark the bottom of the market. How incredible would that be? Oh, we talked about TradFi a little bit before I head off. You know, strong move in NAS, S&P as well, so you know, can't really discount that from today's action, and you know, a very good rejection or pullback, strong pullback on the dollar as well. You know, general risk off in a broader sense, and actually kind of fits in nicely with what's going on with BTC. Again, you know, I'm just going to play it level to level, so 29 being the next level, and if I start seeing signs of weakness and divergences up here, I'll be looking to get on board a short. We've got some plans around LDO, which want to jump in a position on. PCH and BSV will likely be good for next rotations. I think BSV actually looks quite interesting, even though it's going to be reasonably illiquid, I imagine, but we'll see. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. Play rotations. I think the Doge Mask correlation is very interesting. I think Mask is actually the beat to play if you're looking to play like that Twitter news and rotation on a higher time frame basis. And I think generally in the form of low caps, I think low caps are going to be, you know, if we get that risk on environment and we get that approval, I think low caps are just going to go fucking ballistic. But maybe that's just what I hope, because that's where I'm majorly deployed. Taylor Swift, what do you mean? Biggest winner this year for me? Oh, I don't know. I've been really slack with my accounting records, to be honest with you. I don't know what my biggest winner this year is. I probably should know. I think at the start of the year, I had a few banger trades on LDO and Aptos. XRP was a very good day with the XRP news. What else? I don't know, they were probably the best. Well, they were the best trading days for me in terms of like low caps. I've done very well on a couple of low caps. So this one I wish I put more in, but probably find one of my wallets. I was buying back here, and if you look at the chart, you're like, oh god, it's not really doing much. Basically, every time it moved, it just fucking sold off. You know, everyone's selling, everyone's like, oh, fucking hell, like, and I basically just wrote this off, and I was like, oh fuck it, you know, it's dead. And then I log on Twitter like weeks later, completely forgetting that I even had the bag, and like loads of people were shilling it up here. I'm like, happy days, cheers boys. I'll have that. And you wait for somebody to tweet about it, and then just dump your bags. But this, I could have literally done a 30%, maybe more, price impact. Like, just fucking sold the bag and just went vroom. Which I was very tempted to do. I was very tempted to live stream it as well, and just be like, hey boys, do you want to learn a lesson about slippage and liquidity and why it's important? Let's go. But yeah, that was one of the ones where I probably should have went a bit harder given the market cap at the time, and even now it's still nothing. Again, I'm not telling you to rush out and buy this, right? Not at all. I would rather tell you to buy it like somewhere like here, and disclosure in a bag and all that kind of stuff, than here. But yeah. How'd you find these early? Genuinely, I was talking to someone smarter than me, and he told me about it. So, what was the market cap when I started buying? I don't know. What's the market cap now? The market cap now is 16 mil. And like back then, yeah, it's probably there somewhere. I can't remember my exact average entry. So yeah, it's fucking tiny, is the answer. Yeah, it was in the like hundreds of K. I can't be asked to do that maths, but yeah, it was low. So yeah, no, genuinely, it was speaking with a friend who was far more well versed than me. I think he knew the developer. So network is net worth. As much as people think it is a meme, it is not. It wasn't the same person who told me about SHIB, but someone told me about SHIB and was like, lol man, get in here, Telegram's fucking mental. And it was, it was hilarious when you look back on it. But yeah, just check in with him actually, I haven't spoken to him in ages. So yes, I wish I could say I was scanning the launches of said shitcoin, but I mean, you look at it, right? And with these kind of things, like if you'd bought on launch, and you're like, hey, this is great, and then suddenly it's down like 70%. This is also the thing, is like a lot of people underestimate like this chop, because relative to this, it looks like nothing, right? It's absolute nothing. And that's why I always try and balance things back with like what is the potential upside, like reasonable potential upside of where you're at now for low caps. So if you're holding 1% of a 5 million market cap project, right, it costs you 5k. If that project goes to, I don't know, 500 million, you've just made 100x, and you've just made $500,000 from a 5k investment. I'm not sure how reasonable that is. It depends on the project. It depends on everything. It depends on the market. Blah blah blah. But just there's good amounts of money and multiples to be made on low caps if you're not a complete fucking idiot with it. IMO. But they are very high risk. Can all go to zero. Will all go to zero at some point. So be responsible. See, balancing that message is like the most impossible thing. You're my friend and smarter than me. Thanks, IttyBitty1521. Think guys will do similar to Meb3? I don't know, because it's a very different value proposition, to be honest. I think, excuse me 1 second. Sorry, just slurping down some water, which you probably don't need to hear. Do I think it does similar to Meb3? I don't know. What was Meb3 in terms of like the total cap? I mean, they're different in terms of, so almost 2x, so probably 30 million market cap was like the peak. And that was probably the peak shitcoinery, where everyone was rushing on chain to get the next big thing. I don't like giving targets for low caps. That's the thing, is like my investment and my risk is fucking high, right? I couldn't give a shit if this goes to zero tomorrow. Whereas you, if you're putting like $1,000 in it, and $1,000 is a lot of money to you, and it goes to zero tomorrow, you're gonna come back to my stream and be like, Charlie, you're a fucking dick. Like someone just dumped 10k on my head. That was you, Charlie. Oh my god, you're live streaming, dumping on people. Like I don't need my followers as exit liquidity. Number one. And two, my risk tolerance is very high for shitcoins, because I am literally putting money in there for it to go 10x before I take my initial out, or 5x. So it depends on where I got in. So like this, for example, it'll probably be 5x because it's actually quite not. I wouldn't say 5 million market cap is high, but yeah, I will likely, if it gets to 20 mil market cap, I'll probably take my initial out and maybe a little bit more. So I always like to kind of treat myself a little bit. So if I put $1,000 in there, say, I might take $1,100 out just so I can bank the W mentally and be like, well, even if I wake up tomorrow and it's literally rugged, well, I kind of know that I've made money out of it. Yeah, hopefully net of gas. Does the smarter friend ever stream? No, he doesn't actually. I know we're on microcaps, but today's Bitcoin daily close feels like most important in a while. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, have a good one, Bias Frog, my friend. Yeah, no, it is. You know, and it is good to see. It's good to see it not just instantly retracing it, but equally that's off the backdrop of strong equities, you know, dying dollar, etc. So, you know, all the stars aligning on that trade. So anyway, I think that's probably it for me, boys and girls. Have we had fun? Have we had a nice mix of shitcoins, of Bitcoin, of the joys of Pepe, me serenading you with my beautiful voice? Next time your smarter friends suggest low caps, you mind letting us know? I'm happy to shill shitcoins on stream, to be honest. I don't care anymore. I just want you guys to take responsibility for your own money, and I will be here to say, you know, these are very high risk, and I will say that every time. Oh, you're looking into any SocialFi projects? If you've got a list, DM me. My DMs are open, because I've banged on about it a million times that SocialFi I think is absolutely incredible, and I think Friendtech, they did it the complete arse end around, and if they had launched a token, that token would be at 1 billion market cap by now. Like, absolutely, like, props to the guys who did something incredible, and they've onboarded tons of users and all that kind of stuff, buy my shares, etc., or buy my keys, rather, for absolutely nothing, because it's not, like, I need to put it on my desktop, actually. Fucking hell, that reminds me, sorry, it's got to go on my list of shit to do. Yeah, I think they did it the wrong way around. If they launched a token with it and made that the gated access and made it so that not only the rooms went up, you know, incrementally with that bonding curve, but the supply was so finite that you needed, you know, 50 tokens to get in Osaka's room, let's say. Oh, sorry, let's call it like the bonding curve goes like. They missed a massive Ponzi trick. So bonding curve goes like this, right? In terms of keys that you need to be able to get in the room, or tokens that you need to be able to get in the room, and price goes up the more holders there are, etc., etc. But there's only a finite supply of tokens, which means that actually the fully diluted value of this would go up the more users use it, and the higher those prices go to get in those rooms, so the more demand there is, you know, it would just get fucking ridiculous. Like, it is the simplest design of tokenomics ever, but it would have been, like, I would have put money into crypto to fucking buy into that. I would have taken, because I'm like, you know, more than 80% of my net worth is outside of crypto right now. Just to give you some form of, you know, perspective on things. Literally, if crypto went to zero tomorrow, I'd be fucking annoyed, but it wouldn't devastate me, type thing. So, if they'd have done that, I would have taken a chunk of my net worth and just fucking whacked every penny of that in there. Every single fucking penny I had. Like, that would have been the ultimate. But, alas, they did not. Can I look at CH the spot? Just for you, my friend. I will look at that shitcoin. God. Let's go daily. I mean, fucking hell. Sorry, I couldn't physically control my vomit. I like CHZ. I like what they're trying to do, but I mean, this is just fucking garbage. Hot, salty garbage. It's just such a strong downtrend. Like, reclaim some VWAPs, reclaim some levels, do something interesting, and I could be excited. But Christ Almighty, that is. Yeah, sorry, my brother. That is not looking good. Hello, HCT Matt. But yeah, that would have been the greatest Ponzi scheme of all time, and that would probably have been my retirement from crypto, because I would have bet fucking hard, and it would have mooned. But alas, they leaked out a beta that isn't great. I mean, it's still very good, right? Like, I'm trying to be like they've got a great thing on their hands, a great platform. They've done really well considering that the beta got leaked. But yeah, and they're making fucking millions out of it anyway, so they don't give a fuck. I just think it would have been better for everyone else to be able to speculate. Jim said his in STFX. What do you mean? Yeah. It's gone well, isn't it? My average is 0.07. I'll wait long term. Yeah, fair enough, mate. See, that is completely your prerogative to do so. Jim said his is in STFX, as in like his social fi bet. I thought there was a STFX USD, but maybe not. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Not the biggest fan of STFX, to be honest. Cool. Alright guys, well, I'll leave it there. I think we covered a lot. We obviously had a very big day today. And really now it's just planning on, you know, what do you want to see from the market? Where do you want to get long? If you want to get long. For me, it's what we talked about, which is probably a BCH rotation if we can. OP. FA is probably done. Might close out CRV. Oh, it's probably going to close itself out for me. Lovely. LDO is another one. Look for that. Look for that consolidation around this 162 level. And yeah, good luck. Let's hope the ETF all gets approved, and then we just teleport straight to infinity. Link is my favourite stablecoin. Yeah. I remember when everyone was saying that Link to infinity and blah blah blah. Fucking utter shit coin. Utter fucking garbage. Great tech. Don't get me wrong. Fucking incredible. But worthless token. Anyway, peace out. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for participating in the chat, those who did. And I will love you and leave you, and I will see you next week. Au revoir.
He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.